Hello and welcome back. My name is Erin L. Ferguson, and this is my video series about creating the art for a 2D video game. Thank you again for joining me. I had a very productive week, art-wise, especially compared to a really unproductive holiday season. But now that we've cleaned up, we've put away all the Christmas decorations, all of the parties, everything's over, it's kind of back to life as usual. And so I wrapped up drawing. Oh, it's been a number of episodes ago now, but I was drawing expression sheets for all of our characters so that when you talk to them and they say different phrases, they can have different facial expressions that correspond with their dialogue. So I've been working on those, and I drew, I think I counted, it was like 22 or 23 different facial expression sheets, and it took forever. And I wrapped those up this week, which felt really, really good. So for today's episode, I thought I would do another Draw With Me episode. So this is it's a good chance if you are, I don't know, going to be doing something that doesn't require a lot of thinking, like, I don't know, folding laundry or putting away Christmas decorations. You might listen to this, put me on in the background. It's going to be sort of podcasty. I am going to be drawing and just commentating as I'm drawing. But what I'm going to be working on is a custom character sheet. So in our game, up to this point, we have been using set designs for the player character, the main character. We have a female version and a male version, but there are no customization options. But we are going to change that starting today. I don't think I am going to finish probably both the male and female versions of the customization sheets, but I will start on one of them. And we're going to be designing different heads, hairstyles, faces, outfits, so that when the player, when they start their file, they can customize their character to look however they want. So sit back, hold tight, I am going to pull up Photoshop and we will start drawing. Okay, I am in, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. I'm trying a bit of a different setup with my mic so that it's not in my face and in the way of my arm while I'm drawing, so it's kind of off to the side, so hopefully you'll be able to hear okay. But I just wanted to show you what we have currently versus what we want. So at the moment, as you can see, this is our male player character, and he just has a set look. You know, this is his head, this is his hair, this is his body, these are his legs. If you want something else, too bad. And what we really want is something more like this. So this is a sprite sheet for one of our peasants. And the peasants, of course, are just randomly generated. But as you can see, there are different head shapes, different hairstyles, a few different outfits, and different faces with different eye colors. And that's what we would like for the player character, except, of course, the player would be able to actually, customize what they want. So I will be keeping some of this stuff, obviously, like I think this outfit will be an option, but we want to provide basically more options so that the player can choose what they like. I'm fairly certain when I first made this original King sprite sheet that the symmetry button in Photoshop was not a thing yet, and I tell you what, it saves so much time having that button there. So I learned something very valuable when I was making my peasant sheet, because when I made this peasant sprite sheet, one thing I didn't take into account was head width. So all of the heads, like the crown of the heads, are different, they're different widths, they're different sizes, which makes fitting hair really, really hard. Because some hair would fit on some heads, but not as well on other heads, and anyway, I have since learned to keep the crowns of their heads the same, because it makes it so much easier. I will be making different chin shapes, as you can see here, but the crowns of their heads should all be the same. Okay, we need at least one round-headed boy. Yes, we do. Okay, we definitely, absolutely have to have a manly cleft chin. This is non-negotiable. Oh, yes. So much testosterone. I love it. Okay, so here's a question. How many do you think, the player character needs? How many heads do you think they should be able to choose from? I mean, I would think, I don't know, at least 6, right? Maybe 8? I don't know, we'll see how long the ideas keep flowing. Because whatever I do for the guys, I gotta do for the girls, so I want to make sure whatever I choose is doable. which might get kind of difficult when it comes to hair, because I tell you what, I can draw girl hair for days. With guy hair, like, guy hair is all the same to me. Like, it's either long, medium short, or really short, or they don't have any. What if we do, like, a really pointy chin? You know, a lot of these head shapes would work for the girls, too. Maybe not the giant cleft chin, but, like, the rest of them might work okay. What about, like, a round, soft little chin? Like, it has the potential to be a square, rock-solid jaw someday, if this guy would apply himself and work out, but he probably won't, so he'll always have this cute, soft little chin. I'm doing a lot of copy and pasting because I don't really see any point in redrawing the same head like 1,000 times. If all I'm gonna do is change the jaw, then that's all I should change. I just had a funny idea. I've been doing all of these nicely sculpted, chiseled sort of faces, but what if we do the exact opposite of that? Like the really low-hanging cheek. Let's do a jowly face. Yes, let's do a jowly face. Gosh, I love my job. Look at that, that's adorable. Okay, so now we're down this rabbit hole. What if we do like not the concave jaw, but like the convex jaw? Okay, is that too far? That might be taking it too far. I don't know why this is so funny. What if we did... Okay, what about the really high model cheekbones? Can we pull that off? Oh, yes we can. Yes we can, friends. This guy needs to eat a sandwich. He's like... I was going for like the model cheekbones, but I think we skipped over that and went straight to skeleton. I love that. I love it way too much. Okay, can I come up with one more idea and make it an even 10? Of course I can. Of course I can. Okay, how do we feel about this combination? It's like the jutting cheekbones, square jaw. The other thing is we are going to be adding facial hair into the mix, so some of these might just look really good with a beard or something. I really feel like I should stop. And I'm not stopping. Oh, yes. This guy's jaw is thicker than the crown of his head. Alright, let's take a look at what we got here. So we got our standard plain vanilla head, square plain vanilla head, baby face, butt chin, long skinny face, nubby chin, square chin, jowls, needs a sandwich with a square chin, really, really broad jawbone. And these two are kind of similar. I don't know if I'm gonna... I think these two might be too close. But what if we do these rounded cheeks? Oh, yes. What if we pair this chin? Oh, that changes everything. Yep, I love it. I love everything about it. Moving on. So when I said that men's hair all looks the same to me, I wasn't kidding. These all look the same. Okay, so not this one so much. That definitely that's a look. That's a skunk. That's exactly what that is. Okay, so we have ourselves sort of a pretty boy look. Looks like every roughly 11-year-old I've ever seen. Through the tousled, I woke up like this hair. And we all know that nobody just wakes up like that. I suppose somebody will want a buzz cut. So I suppose we should cater to that person. There are a lot of these haircuts I'm seeing that are like long on the top but really short on the sides. So maybe I'll try and recreate that. Okay, I just had a thought. Should there be like a balding option? I absolutely think there should be. Uh-huh, this is happening. Let's give him the bald on top, stuff around the sides. Okay, we got our balding option. Oh, but can we make it better? Could it be like really receded? Rather than just bald on the top, should we do just like a really receded one? Oh, that's almost mean. But I mean, I don't know, real people look like this. Gosh, it's funny though, isn't it? You know what this looks like? What's his name in X-Men? His helmet. It totally looks like, see, we can, yeah. See, it's not not bad. It's just... No, I can't do it. I can't. We'll do a bald option or a mostly bald option, but... if you want like a really nasty receded hairline, maybe you gotta play a different game. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have some fairly like conservative options here. But what about something like a mohawk? Oh, what about a man bun? Should we do it? We should do it. All of my artistic training has led me to this moment. Yes? Are we feeling this? I am, and it actually looks pretty good on this skeletal face, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of into that. So what about like a longer hair option for men? I don't want it to look super feminine, but like a lot of guys like their hair longer. Some guys pull it off really well. Sort of an Aragorn kind of thing, I'm thinking. I think we definitely need a sort of shaggy style. Sort of like the original. You know what? I don't think we have a curly boy yet. We should definitely do... One of these guys needs to have curls for sure, like really tight curls. Alright, so that's 12 hair options. Do we keep going? I believe we do. I haven't even gotten into like dreadlocks and cornrows and stuff like that yet. Can't stop now. So for dreadlocks, I feel like maybe a couple of different versions would be good, because some people have them really short, but then some go really long. Okay, we have like a really short, tight, curly hairstyle for men, but what about something that's a little bit longer? Have we done one that's like slicked back like a vampire yet? I don't think we have. Okay, so if I can think of one more, that will give us an even 20 ideas, and I think that's pretty good. Okay, so that's 20 new hairstyles. I feel pretty good about those. I think that gives us some pretty strong options. Next, let's do ourselves some facial hair. The thing is, with the facial hair, because all of the jaw shapes are different, we're gonna have to kind of stay away from some of these really close, clean-cut looks, because they might not fit on every head. So if I do whiskers that fit this narrow head, they're not gonna fit this wide head. But we'll see what we can do anyway. We should be able to do at least like mustaches and, you know, big beards and stuff like that. So let's start with the basics. Let's get a dad stash. I call this a dad stash because it is exactly what my dad had. Entire growing up life. It's also what my husband's dad had, so it must have been a thing. Handlebar mustache, anyone? Oh yes! I love everything about this, it's huge. How about like a goatee? This one I'll have to try on and make sure it fits. Let's see how that looks on some of these heads that actually have more of a defined chin. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the worst. What about just like a little like soul patch? Oh, can we do mutton chops? That would be hilarious. Okay, I need to see a picture. Mutton chops. That one could get a little tricky because it has to follow the line of the jaw, but let's see. Maybe we can make it work. Let's try. Oh gosh, I was so excited to see if I could. I didn't stop to think if I should. Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay, does it fit on the other heads though? It might have to be a little wider. That one's cutting it close. It actually looks really good on this head though. Doesn't it though? Okay, what about some of these with the really wide jaw? It almost fits. Some of these I won't be able to tell super precisely until I actually ink them, because then the lines will be a little cleaner. But you know, it's not bad. What about like a more of a tasteful mustache? Just like a... I don't know if there is such thing as a tasteful mustache though, to be honest. They're just not in style right now. Beards are though. How much beard can we get away with? Like, I don't want it to cover his whole body, but at the same time, that's exactly what I want. What about like a Santa beard? Santa beard. Yes. Oh, yes. This is speaking to me. Let's do like because a beard, a big beard, you don't have to worry. You don't really have to worry about the shape of the jaw because it's just going to mask all of that. It's big, curly, luscious beard. About, yeah, like what about a more square kind of beard? This should work with almost any head. Let me test it though. Because it does kind of mask the jaw. You know, if you put a beard on your character, it really doesn't matter what jaw you pick. I'm realizing that. If it's just going to cover anyway, then you're good. Gosh, I do not know what facial hair is called. Is it a goatee with a mustache? Am I even thinking of the right term? I don't know. Man, I could just keep going on this facial hair stuff all day. Should we do like a Hitler mustache? You know, because in this game you don't have to be like, you don't have to be a benevolent ruler if you don't want to be. I think a nod to Hitler might be in order. Gosh, is that too far? Is the Hitler mustache taking things too far? I don't know, it's really funny though. You know what? I'll throw it in the idea pool. We can always throw it out later. I certainly don't want to offend anyone with our facial hair choices, but I don't know. It would be really fun to make a character that looked like Hitler, especially if he was super nice. What about like a nasty sort of like homeless man beard? Like really shaggy, looks like you slept in a bush kind of beard? I think this has a place in our game. You know, I just realized we have made a gross omission to our facial hair options because nowhere in here have I drawn a Fu Manchu. Oh, but what about a beard with like beads? We don't have a beaded beard. But I've already got like 12 options. That's quite a few facial hair options. I mean, we could trade homeless man beard for like a beaded beard. That would be pretty cool. It's so beautiful. I'm having too much fun. Okay, so that is 12 facial hair options. Hopefully enough to satisfy even the most discerning of tastes. Okay, so I turned the camera off there for a minute while I inked all of the heads and hair and all of the facial hair, mostly because my kids were in the room and it was too noisy to film anyway. So now let's go ahead and jump over and work on our outfits. So much as I love to go overboard pretty much in every aspect of my life, as my husband can attest, I'm limiting myself, at least for the beta launch of the game, I'm limiting myself to just 6 outfits. And one of the reasons for that, of course, is, well, I mean, if you really look at the characters from any distance, at the distance that you'll be playing the game, I mean, the bodies are actually really small. I mean, if we look in comparison here, I mean, at the distance that you play the game, the main thing you're going to see is your character's head. You know, you see their head, their hair, their face. The bodies, I mean, I'm looking here, I think that the bodies, the torsos, are about the size of the head. I mean, they're very small, and they're partially covered, you know, by the head. And so I feel like the outfit that your character wears is not going to be quite as iconic as their face and head. And so I'm not quite as worried about providing so many options. At some point I might make some more anyway, just because I like having options and I think it's fun. But I don't feel like I should probably do quite so many right off the bat. Of course, I do want to sort of recreate this original one, mostly because I'm just like used to seeing it by now and I just like it. You may be wondering if I already drew that original one, why I am redrawing it, and that is a good question. Mostly because, I mean, I think I may have mentioned this before, but when I originally made, you know, those original character sprites, Photoshop did not have a symmetry tool. And so it's not, and what I would do instead, basically, was I would draw half of it, and then I would just use, you know, I would copy, paste, use like the horizontal flip tool. I mean, it was a whole thing to try and get it symmetrical. But even then, it was like, it wasn't exact. Sometimes things would be just a little wonky. I would have to sort of patch them up a little bit. And I just wanted it to be exactly symmetrical because it makes it so much easier to fit things, to fit, you know, arms, legs, everything on top if you know, we know that it's the same on both sides. So I just redrew it just to make sure it's perfect. I mostly traced the original, so it should be pretty darn close. So when I was making these, I wanted to make sure that there was a little something for every kind of player. Well, maybe not every kind of player, but the average player. And so I wanted to make sure we covered all our bases, you know. So first of all, we have the original, you know, the gold breastplate and the purple, but then I really wanted like a very iconic kingly sort of version. So hence we've got our red robe here, because I don't know, that's just what immediately jumps to mind when you think of a king. You get the red robe with the white fur trim. I mean, obviously, also Santa Claus, but this is but if you add the little black spots to the fur, all of a sudden it's a king's robe, right? We all know this. It's a thing. Very nice, very sumptuous. That's my new favorite word, actually. I've been saying that word a lot lately. Sumptuous. All right, now we have our Henry VIII. Our Henry VIII option. I'm not sure if I'm really feeling the colors on this one yet, but I'm gonna leave it for now and just maybe come back to it. So our next one is for the person who just wants to wander around in a suit of armor. Here's the one, here's the outfit for you. I think that in our game, if you want to wander around in a suit of royal armor, you should be able to. And then for our players who want to be a little more comfortable, want to be able to move, we've got sort of our fancy tunic option for those who are going to be gallivanting around their kingdom a lot. Don't want to be restricted. Okay, nice. Hopefully that one feels royal enough. I think it passes. It's not quite as, I don't know, extra as some of these others, but I guess that was sort of the point, isn't it? All right, so this last one, I wanted to have a bit of like almost a military sort of vibe. That feels good to me. The blue and the white, I like that a lot. All right, so those are our different outfits, which means the next step is to give them all matching sleeves. Our last little accessory here is the king's crown. And so this, you won't really be able to choose options, I don't think, for this, because as the game progresses, you get more stuff, your crown will get bigger. So you gotta start at the bottom with this tiny little crown. I don't know, maybe we'll offer options like for crown placement if you want it like directly centered or maybe cocked off to one side, I don't know. But the point is, at the beginning, you gotta start with this dinky little crown before you can get a really cool big one. Now the lower arms I'm keeping all basically identical. I'm just changing up the colors of the gloves so that they match your outfit of choice. Should we give this guy white boots? I can just imagine him wandering around his kingdom, knee-deep in muck in his white boots. Okay, gang, we did it. The only thing I have left to do now is just to provide some different eye color options, which I'm going to go ahead and do here in just a minute. But I figure I will wrap this video up. Thank you so much for sitting with me as I drew this entire character customization sheet from beginning to end. I will be back again next week with another video, so until then, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you later.